Welcome back. Last time we took a look at eastern Velious, and today we're going to take a look at the rest of the western half of Velious. We'll begin back in the Great Divide and take the road up through Thurgadon, go through the snowy forest here, around to the Temple of Vishon Scar, the Dragon Necropolis Scar, and we will probably be finishing up down here somewhere in the eastern waste, or possibly down here in Cobalt Scar. So we're back in the Great Divide, and today we're going to travel up this road here behind me to Thurgadon. Now, Thurgadon is an underground city of the Ice Dwarves, which came to this continent very accidentally. I believe their ship ran aground off the coast here, and of course, being surrounded in ice, they were stranded, so they had no choice but to live here. And that's the road to the Dragon Necropolis Scar down there, but we will turn north for the moment and follow the mountain road up to Thurgadon. And the mountains of Velious in this region are, of course, covered in ice and snow pines fairly densely around here. Let me get a better view up here. And as we come to the end of the road here, we will see the mountain underneath which Thurgadon will be situated. And if we turn off to the left here, we will enter a snowy tundra forest. It's a rather large one. Now, this area doesn't have a name because it was just a blank spot on the map of Velious itself. One of the things when I was building Velious out is a lot of it was left unused, pretty much. Since this was just a blank spot, I've chosen to put a snowy forest on it. And we have just a little bit of green and non-frozen area down there of podzol and tundra and permadirt. Otherwise, I don't think there is even one block of grass on Velious. It's just too cold down here. And through this forest, there are some frozen glaciers that wind their way down to the coast. But if we will go this way and hop over the mountains here, we will come to the scar that is the home of the Temple of Vishon, where the dragons have their main temple is located down there. And here it is just down here. I've tried to make all the scars a little different from each other. I think up there is the Great Divide, and just down from that, we descend into the Temple of Vishon Scar. I think I need a better name for it. I've also made some road connections down here that just go into the mountains, because over here I'm going to have tunnels that travel underneath the scars so you can get around better. Otherwise, these things are quite impassable to get around if you just don't just tunnel through them. And that is, of course, the beauty of Minecraft. We can do these things. And, of course, down here there's going to be all sorts of dragon buildings sitting around in amongst these trees. And the temple itself will be carved into the mountain. I think right here, actually. This flat spot I've carved out for it. There's going to be a big dragon temple sitting here someday. Not today, though. However, if we will head on over the mountain here, we will come to the scar known as the Dragon Necropolis. This is because the dragons bury their dead inside of this particular scar. And for this scar, I have chosen ice mushrooms instead of ice pines to make them all somewhat different from each other. And that continues on to the other side. But we want to go back this way and head on up into the eastern wastes. I'm also thinking I might want larger ice mushrooms down here. I'm not sure about that. Most of this is going to be filled with dragon tombs and pyramids and everything. But if we head the road this way, we will begin coming into the western wastes. And we see some ice crystal trees coming up. Some sort of ice willows. You may recognize these as being the purple trees from Fedor. But over here, they are made of ice. Well, ice and glass. I did actually try to make them all of ice, but the end rods kept melting them. And for tree bark, they have diamond ore, which I thought worked pretty well. But over here in the western wastes is where the dragon raise and nurse their young, which is what this little depression is down here. This is a dragon nest. And these trees grow around the several dragon nests that are around here. I haven't counted them. There's at least a dozen of them. And generally there are named dragons down in each one of them, guarding its brood of eggs. And if you kill too many of them, you will lose your faction with them, and they will attack you on sight. Which, I mean, I haven't done that, surely. And down there it goes off into one of the scars. We want to head even further south, though. Down to Cobalt Scar. And here we are entering Cobalt Scar. So named because it's filled with water and it's blue and sort of frozen down here, so I assume that's why they call it Cobalt Scar. And there's a lot of ice and ice pines down here, and cold water corals and sponges growing down there. And somewhere down here is going to be the floating dragon city of Sky Shrine. Yes, you heard that right. It's a floating city. And it's going to be somewhere up in the clouds around the southernmost tip of Cobalt Scar down here. There will be a portal to click to get up to access it, because I assume the dragons probably just fly in themselves. And even further south than this, we see the vast ice plains of the southern pole. It's just a sheet of ice as far as the eyes can see. And underneath there are some frozen prismarine mushrooms if you want to crack the ice and go down there. And here is the southernmost tip of the continent of Velious, which somewhere down here is going to have the access point to Sky Shrine, which will probably be sitting in the sky around here somewhere. And with that, our tour of the frozen continent of the Scars of Velious is complete. I think by the time the next episode comes out, I will have the first full version of the Worldpainter map completed. Sort of beta 1.0 instead of the alpha stuff you've seen so far. And the only thing I will need to do in that is go through by hand and get the waterfalls started, at least the early version of the waterfalls. I want to have that done. And probably the video after that is going to have the first full version for you to download and take a look at yourself. Yes, that's right, Norrath in its entirety, you will be able to look at yourself. Be warned though, it's going to be a rather large file, and it's going to be the first of many such downloads. Because after that, the Terraforming series is complete, and the probably 1,000 episode long series where I build Norrath is going to commence. And during the building of Norrath itself, there will be several additional downloads of the map as I continue to make progress building out the city and the zones. So I hope you all are excited for that, and I will see you next time.